Hey, Scotty Graham here with another Photoshop tutorial for you. Today, I want to show you a quick, easy, yet effective way to soften the skin of a portrait. But before I show you this quick and easy method, I do want to give credit where credit is due. I learned this technique from a Photoshop class on kelby1.com, taught by a professional retouch artist by the name of Calvin Hollywood. So Calvin, thanks so much for this fantastic technique, and I hope you don't mind me sharing it with my photography students today. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing we're going to do with Daria here is clean a few of her small blemishes on her skin that we all have naturally. But we don't want to do this on the background layer. We always want to create a new layer on top so that our background and original photograph is not affected. So by pushing Command J, we create a new layer. And now I can make some adjustments to this layer. And if I make a mistake, I just toss the layer in the garbage can and then start over again. Okay, I've got what I like to call the Band-Aid tool, the spot healing brush tool. And I'm pushing my left bracket key to make it a little bit smaller. Just a little bit size, a little bit bigger than some of the blemishes on her face. And then I just brush on her blemishes and it removes those little spots from her skin before I do my softening. Okay, so I'm just randomly going around here, clicking on just the major ones. Minor little spots, they will actually be covered up when we do the softening. But these bigger spots, it's nice to get with the spot healing brush first. A little bit bigger here for the spot down here. Okay, wouldn't it be nice if we could do this in real life, just stand in front of the mirror and get rid of any blemishes on her face. This one on her neck actually is, I think from my camera, a little dust spot, so I'll just take that off because I don't think that was there naturally on her skin. Okay, and that looks pretty decent. And so now I'm ready to apply the softening effect that I learned from Calvin. Okay, once that's done, I'm going to create another layer by pushing Command J. And then we're going to invert this layer by pushing Command I. I know it looks really, really funky right now, but stay with me. It will look better and better as we go on here. Then I'm going to change this blend mode to vivid light. Okay. And now I can't see anything, but now I'm going to create a filter on this layer and you will see the effects of the softening. So I'm going to go to Other and High Pass. Normally this is a filter I would use for sharpening, but since the layer is inverted, it's going to do actually the opposite. It's going to soften. Okay. So I've got my radius here at 3.1, and you really don't want to go any much higher than 4 or 5 pixels. In fact, between 2 and 4 pixels is pretty good. The thing I'm looking for here when I'm adjusting the radius is I want to be able to see some texture in the skin. If I move it all the way out here to 4.3, you can see all the texture in her skin is covered up, and then it will be obvious that the photograph has been photoshopped. And we don't want to be obvious. We just want a subtle change here in softening the skin. So I'm going to lower this radius down to around, looks like about 2.5 pixels. Right now it's about 2.3. And I'm going to click OK. Now, when I applied this filter, it applied it to the entire image. And of course, we only want this filter to take place on her skin. So I'm going to create a mask by holding down the Option key and then clicking on a new mask icon at the bottom of the Layers palette. Clicks the mask, fills it with black, and covers up that entire effect. Okay. Now I get my paintbrush by pushing the letter B. And now I have a nice large brush. And when I paint on this mask, the softening effect will shine through. So now I just paint on her skin, avoiding her eyes, avoiding her eyebrows and her hair and her lips, just going around her face. And every time I paint, the skin softens. Okay, I'll even get her neck down here. Okay. And just below her lip here. Okay. And to me, this looks a little bit too soft. as I paint on this mask. So I can go over here to the opacity of the layer. I'm going to drop it all the way down to 0. That covers up the effect. And then just raise the opacity little by little to the point where the skin is softened, but I still see texture in her skin. And that looks pretty good right there. Maybe a little bit softer. Okay. Now if you look before and after, if I hold down the Option key and click on the bottom eyeball here, you can see that's before and that's after, before and after. So the skin has been softened, but not too soft to make it look obviously photoshopped. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for joining me. I'm Scotty Graham, and I'll see you next time.